Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the CORE Xfinity Series, and more importantly, welcome home. The home unofficially here for the CORE Series. We are at the Kansas Speedway, and this thing is beautiful once again under the lights. Looks like we got a good-sized field out here tonight. 26 cars in the field. We got the birthday boy David Tilford, but we also got some invaders. It's not uncommon to see Kansas produce some guys, almost just kind of like a road course, or the one-off dirt track, or the some of the short tracks sometimes bring out those drivers that really enjoy that type of racing. Well, Kansas kind of does the same thing, and we see a return to the series for Nick Nickerson, Danny Ware also back into the series, and it looks like Connor Gibson, former king of the Oval here in CORE, joining the likes of the boys out here for round number 11, and we only got 5 more races left in this season here tonight, and the regular season, I should say, starting here tonight, and the points are getting mighty close, and especially by that cut line. But we'll get to that here in a second. I want to bring in my man joining me up here in the booth, and that is going to be Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, we're back home here at Kansas, and it always feels right.
There's nothing like home, nothing like seeing some of the drivers come out of the woodworks and try to put on a good show for the fans out there. But before we get started, Carl, just want to give a shout out to all our friends and family here at CRN that might have been involved with the storm that has plummeted the east coast of the United States, and maybe they're having some issues. So if this is your time to kind of just sit and chill, relax, and get life back to normal again, welcome here to CRN, and hopefully everything turns out good for anybody else that might not be able to make it, but maybe watching the replay. So just want to give a shout out to those families out there. But yeah, Carl, I'm looking forward to a night here at Kansas. It's a double header here for us at CRN. We start off here at Chicago, at Kansas, and then we work our way over to Bristol. So it's going to be a lot of fun over there with the drivers over there at UCRL as well. So just back-to-back great races here tonight on CRN, and looking forward to each of them.
Yeah, and as always, I mean, if you guys haven't liked and subscribed yet, I mean, now's the time to do so. It's always great racing here on CRN, whether it's here in the CORE Xfinity Series over at UCRL or any of the other series that we handle all throughout the week. As a little bit light right now as it's coming towards the last quarter of the year, so some of the series kind of taking a bit of a break and wait until it kicks off next season. But we already got plenty in the works, and obviously, we got our doubleheader tonight. We got our doubleheader tomorrow night, as usual, with CSRL and the YesCar Truck Series. So plenty of racing. But we got to talk about the racing here tonight. Again, 5 races left in the regular season, starting here at Kansas. And got a couple more tracks that you can kind of get at. You can kind of get racy with Charlotte in a couple weeks, and then Vegas right after that. But it's those other 2 little wild cards in there. You got Talladega next week, which... it's Talladega. It can do all kinds of haymakers to some of these guys. And then the regular season finale at Martinsville. I don't even want to really talk about Martinsville. You know my feelings towards it. I know your feelings towards it.
I feel a little bit in my mouth, Carl.
But let's take a look at the standings coming in here tonight. And more importantly, we look at the 3 divisions, as the top 5 in each division will be your playoff drivers heading into the final rounds right there. And currently right now we are looking at the gold division. Alan Elwood got a nice sizable 86-point buffer over the cut line, but you see right there 3 points separating Shane Therian and Bryce Reiner right there on the cut line. Van Westen only 35 back, and Pointer 56 back, and you see Moultrie only 15 ahead. And it's kind of the story across the board. You look over in the bronze division, only 15 points separating 5th from 6th. Silver, 39 points in between Collins and Connors right now, but that can be overcome very quickly here in just a couple races, and obviously it can be overcome probably just about all of it next week at Talladega with 1 good finish and 1 bad finish. But we are getting ready to get this thing underway. Qualifying has completed. Jimmy, let's get a rundown of our field here tonight.
Yeah, quick rundown of the field here tonight. Starting grid, we will bring up, and it looks like our pole sitter here tonight is going to be Alan Elwood, followed by Craig Jancic on the outside, then Nico Garcia, Jack Stoneman, for your first 2 rows there. Then Mike Moultrie, Shane Therian, Nick Nickerson coming back here, starting off there in P number 7. Danny Ware also there in P number 8. So Kevin West, Daniel Wiles for your top 10. Dave Tilford, birthday boy out there and starting in P number 11. Kelly Pointer, AJ Roderick, Tyler Bramble, Kevin Foster, Connor Gibson, John Van Westen for P number 17. Bryce Rayner there in 18th, Caleb Collins in 19th, Jeremy Gainey in 20th, John Cranes in 21st, Matt Crockett back there 22nd, Joseph Thomas in 23rd, Tony Bramble in 24th, Dan Phelps in 25th, and Casey Phelps back there in 26th. So a very interesting and diverse field here tonight. Like, you know, we got some old, well, I guess I call them old school, but the OGs of CORE out there trying to have a little bit of fun here at the home track. So it's going to be interesting to see where they can finish.
Yeah, this thing's going to be a good one here. 80 laps out here tonight. There's certainly going to be a pit strategy played out here. It's a track where you can certainly gamble on those 2 tires, and we'll see which line the drivers favor. A lot of times here at Kansas, we see that top line kind of be a bit dominant, but we'll see what we have in store here tonight. Certainly, it can get very, very racy right from the rip here, and you can put that car just about wherever you want. It's going to be a lot of grip out there. We'll see some guys really trying to make some passes and get aggressive early, but it can eat you up very quickly too, and it can eat up those tires. And looks like Craig Jancic maybe looking to not get so much TV time with the paint scheme out there. I'll try and get a good look in there, and there you go for Craig Jancic repping the Mets paint scheme out there. And certainly the playoffs for the MLB have started. Me being a Phillies fan, I'm going to try and keep Jancic off of the I mean, Mets are in the playoffs and they've been playing hot lately. I don't like saying that as a Phillies fan, but it is a good-looking car. I hate to say it. I really, really hate to say it, but it is a good-looking car out there, and it's so great under the lights here at Kansas. How much these cars pop, and it just looks fantastic. But we are getting ready to get things underway. Again, it's going to be Alan Elwood, Craig Jancic on the front row, Nico Garcia, Jack Stoneman in 3rd and 4th, and going to be real interesting to see where Jack Stoneman ends up here once he gets rid of his rookie colors there, and where he falls into place into these standings, because obviously his name is going to be in one of those top 8 for sure. But we are getting ready to fire things up here, and we'll send it on down to Barney to get this thing ready. And you see he is ready with that green flag as they come out of turn number 4. Pace car is in.
Green, green, green.
And we are racing at Kansas Speedway.
There you go. That's 2x2 here. It's going to be, you're going to see a lot of 2x2 here, especially early here at Kansas. But this track does tend to favor the high side. But, you know, these drivers have proven us wrong week in and week out. But we'll see how many will slide up to that high side here early. Also run down to that inside.
Beautiful sight seeing all these cars already starting to file out, and you see, I'd say 2 lines developing, but it's maybe 3, 4, 5 different lines developing right now. And a good start here for Alan Elwood, already out there to the lead. But you see right there, you can use the apron on the front stretch here, and it doesn't really, it's not horrible. There's some aprons that you drop down and you can really feel it, you know, kind of upset the car. And I mean, you look at a track like Phoenix, where you can go all the way down to that inside wall, but you really feel that transition. It goes from a good amount of banking to nothing at all. And Kansas here, it's a little bit easier. I mean, it's not as easy as I want to say, like maybe Kentucky. Kentucky's just a little bit smoother, but you can certainly get all the way down to that grass on the front stretch. You'll see a lot of those drivers trying to, you know, kind of cut that tri over here a little bit. But again, good start here for the 5 of Alan Elwood, Craig Jancic, Jack Stoneman, Nico Garcia, and Nick Nickerson, your top 5.
Yeah, a little bit of trouble in the back there, but I believe that was Jeremy Gainey smacking the wall here, and the 45 got that out of the corner of my eye. But they don't keep it going straight, but tag that wall pretty good. They're coming on that front their car, so keep an eye on that 45 as he had a little trouble with the throttle coming off the corner.
Take a look at Jeremy Gainey. It looks like the car's still pretty clean. Not sure how the outside of that car looks. And I think Fairswood looks like he's just kind of hanging out right now in the back of the pack. It's a track that you don't necessarily need to be up there to be in the draft. The draft is going to help you a little bit, but you have to kind of keep touch with everybody because you get a little lackadaisical and you kind of fall off the back of the pack a little bit. It can be tough to reel them back in and kind of get in the groove, but you see a lot of these drivers towards the back using that bottom, and it's one thing that's Katie gets a little bit close to the wall once again there that I've never really understood. I feel like, you know, the top line here at Kansas says, man, we are 3 wide back there towards the back half of the top 5. It seems like, you know, the top line should work for saving tires. You're not turning the car as much, you're not rotating as much, you're kind of letting it flow through the corner. But more often than not, I've seen for some reason that bottom line where you're turning more, you feel like you're scrubbing the tires more, it seems to actually save tires. So I guess maybe it's just my crappy driving style, and it's why I should be up there in the booth. But we've got a battle for the lead. Nico Garcia trying to take to the outside here on his teammate Alan Elwood. Shane Therian right there in third. Danny Ware back in the mix here. Another one from the SWM and Elwood Racing right there. So top 4 now covered by Elwood Racing, and it is Nico Garcia at the front. Jack Stoneman making up that top 5, but Nick Nickerson is right there as well, and Craig Jancic hanging on to the back half of this top 7.
Yeah, definitely interesting up front so far, giving each other plenty of room. A couple close calls. You've seen the 3 wide there. Those in the last couple laps, you see Nick Nickerson going down to that very bottom line, just trying to watch those stone. And someone has had a couple blinks here tonight, but seems to be selling out here so far for them. So that's always good. You know, you hate to see a driver out there with blink, and then like you don't know he's out there. He goes again. So just another one to watch, you know, especially if you're coming up on the 49. Obviously, if you're out there, or if you're listening in the background. But everybody does their best to try to have the best connections, and it's just kind of the nature of the beast for online esports, I guess we don't call it. But a look up at the outside by Shane Therian on Nico Garcia.
Battle up here now for the lead as the 9/3 here. At least it looks like a 9 to me, but it is a 3 on the boards here. Shane Therian to the outside looking for the lead, and Nico Garcia just going to hold him off there by about a thousandth of a second, or actually 100th of a second, going past the line right there. But it seems like that middle line right now is the fast line. Now whether that's going to be one that kind of holds true for the rest of the night, that's going to be to be seen yet. But it looks like Elwood's going to slide back up in front of Danny Ware as you got SWM 1, 2, 3, 4 right now, and Jack Stoneman, Nickerson doing battle there for 5th place as the 49 of Jack Stoneman on the outside. And you got that big red number 2 on the inside. That is Nick Nickerson. Again, welcome him back to the series, and see how you can fare against some of these big boys here at the top of the CORE Xfinity Series. It certainly had some better talent come in here for sure since we've seen that 2 back out here on the track.
Yeah, too. We did a lot of dominating and a lot of races drivers, and that's for sure. And Nick was one of the drivers that chased down, you know, how you wanted to get around here, how how fast you wanted to be, and now, obviously it's been a while. I'm not quite sure what he's been up to. I know he's been a busy person since his life has changed with getting married, and but it's good to see him come back out here with CORE and run a few races with us. So welcome back here, Nick, and obviously we've got other favorites in the field as well. We've got one of our Kevin Foster, usually one of our fan favorites, apparently sitting towards the back of the field in P number 2.
Yeah, not surprised with some of the faces here coming in for this race here at Kansas. Nick Nickerson, Connor Gibson, both coming in here for this race. I know some of those guys racing in a few other series together, so but maybe at some point they'd be working together. But kind of spread out, at least that Nickerson towards the front right now in 5th place, but Gibson in 17th and Foster in 18th. And Foster is certainly no new driver here to Kansas. He's mentioned several times this is his favorite track by far. He likes Texas. That's kind of his home track, but this is where he thrives. He loves him some Kansas Speedway, and he may not necessarily always be the fastest, but for some reason he finds a way to the podium and finds his way to that victory lane quite often here.
Yeah, a lot of strategy used by Kevin here at Kansas Speedway. You know, got definitely have a few wins here, and it's always good to see him out on the track. Like I said, he's a big staple and has a good fan following out there, so I'll hi to all the Kevin Foster fans out there as he is working his way. Well, actually fell back a few spots from the start, but that's just, I think, typical of Kevin here. But, you know, these drivers happen to make a few pit stops. We'll see how things kind of play out for these drivers as, you know, they'll have to make that pit stop and come in here. And I haven't said it yet, but I might as well go ahead and say it now. Hopefully these drivers just practice their pit stops, but they don't have to because the caution comes up.
See who that involved. It looks like Casey Phelps involved. Possibly Tony Bramble, Matt Crockett. We'll take a look and see what exactly brought that one out. Now, looks like the 10 of Crockett. Whoa. Absolutely gets leveled here. We'll try and take a look again and see. Looks like Crockett just getting up into the wall. We'll try and rewind it here a little bit and see. Wow. I got to rewind it even more than that because I don't know what exactly happened there. That seems like maybe a throttle got stuck or something. That did not look like what he wanted to do for sure, and I don't think he was under control there. I think he was along for the ride, unfortunately. Casey Phelps, maybe not realizing he was slow right there, absolutely destroys him going through there. So, yeah, really interesting. Would love to hear what exactly happened there with the 10 because, I mean, it looked like he went down to the apron and just like the throttle stuck and he just went straight up the track. That certainly is not a line you can hold for sure. But we did see Shane Therian out there in the lead. We'll see where everything falls out here. I'm sure some guys are going to be taking some different strategies here, but you've seen Therian out front, and I'm really interested to see how that 3/9 works out here tonight. There's so many times that we've seen him have a ton of speed, but he starts in the back. He has a bad qualifying effort. He misses qualifying. He doesn't get a lap in, whatever the case is. Starts towards the back of the pack. And by the end of the race, he finds himself up in the top 5 and sometimes challenging for a win, but it's just a little bit too little too late. Tonight, qualified in P6 and has already found himself to the lead, led going into caution right there. Looks like he's going to come out in 3rd place, but he does have fresh tires, and really interesting. He takes a set of tires here already on lap number 60. It's kind of about half and half. Looking at the pit strategies here, it looks like about half the cars taking tires, half just taking gas.
This track does allows you to make multiple decisions on pit strategies. So, you know, whether it was no tires or 2 tires or whatever, I'm pretty sure most of these drivers have taken some sort of tires, maybe just 2. We've seen 2 work here at Kansas. You know, maybe with the length of time that the drivers are on the track, that they just elected to take tires. But I didn't really do that with the amount of tires.
I believe they have 3 sets of tires that they can use throughout the race, and again, after 16 laps, kind of early, but you never know how hard they're actually racing. Man, obviously, we've seen Shane go from 6th all the way up to 1st, so he may feel like he, you know, kind of used up that set of tires a little bit and doesn't want to get eaten up on this restart. So we'll see how it plays out, and it could also work in the case where, you know, he may already be looking and thinking that this thing is going to have a nice green flag run, and if he's out there with a new set of tires, he may be able to get to the lead, check out here a bit, and kind of put himself in a good spot there for the green white, or not the green white, the green flag pit stop for the second one, if we get it there. But we are under caution right now. It is Nick Nickerson that's going to get out there in the lead. Jack Stoneman in 2nd. Shane Therian, Daniel Wiles moving himself up into 4th. Kelly Pointer all the way up into 5th place right now. Birthday boy Dave Tilford in 6th, and you got Kevin West, Nico Garcia, Alan Elwood back to 9th, and Danny Ware in the 10th spot right now. So these pit stops certainly shaking up the top 10 and really all throughout the field here. And again, I'm really surprised at how many drivers decided to take tires on that one. I don't really look at Kansas as a track that choose up tires too bad, Jimmy. I mean, it's any track does eventually, but
Yeah.
it seems like Kansas is a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's like the 50-50. A lot of times it's just heavy on the right, so that's why a lot of people will take just right and be able to get away with it here at Kansas. But we'll see how the pit strategies work out for each of these drivers as now it's shuffled up who's out front. So it's Nick Dickerson, Jack Stoneman, Shane Theory, and Daniel Wiles, Kelly Pointer, Dave Tilford, Kevin West, Nico Garcia, Alan Wood, and Danny Ware, you know, for your top 10. And so SWM getting shuffled back a little bit, so now has a little bit of traffic between them in the front. So it's going to be interesting to see if they work their way through the field to, you know, challenge, you know, one of the OGs of CORE, or to see if they can tackle him down and not allow him to win here tonight.
Green, green,
Jump on
green.
board here with Caleb Collins for the restart. Starting back here in 11th spot. Then a bit of a rough start by the outside line. You see him starting to fall back right there. Maybe starting with the 48 there of Daniel Wiles. But a great restart for the two of Nickerson as he drives away, and looks like a little bit of blinking, and maybe that's why maybe Daniel Wiles just kind of falling back, as Jack Stoneman does have some blinking issues at times. But he is going to have a battle now side by side there with Shane Therian for second place. But meanwhile, we are back racing here. Already 20 laps in the books as we start lap number 21 right now. So this thing is flying by. Only the one caution here to start. But now you get an idea of riding on board here with Caleb Collins, what this high line is. And you see that white dashed line. If you want to go to the high line, you kind of need to commit and stay above that dashed line, because there's a little bit of progressive banking, and you get below that white line, it's kind of a not an apron, but you feel the banking difference. And if you catch it wrong, it's going to spin you out or send you right to the wall. Oh!
Wow. Kelly Pointer in the 92 of Kevin West. Going to send him down to the infield. No caution. He's able to recuperate and stand down there in the apron. Definitely was contact between those two drivers.
So we'll take a look back here. Kevin West goes to come up the track, but maybe didn't realize they were 3 wide. Gets into it with Kelly Pointer, but a great save. Keeps it down on the apron and keeps it going here. And we will indeed remain under green. At the front, it is Nick Nickerson. Alan Elwood moved himself now back into second place as they got a bit of a breakaway here and starting to spread out here at the front. Jack Stoneman, Nico Garcia, Danny Ware, your top 5. Then you got Therian, Pointer, Wiles, Collins, and Foster, and your top 10. So you look at Foster and Gibson now in 10th and 11th. So I mean, Foster has been in the series now for a couple weeks. He just recently came out of a temporary retirement over the summer here, but he's back in the series. But I mean, Nickerson and Connor Gibson coming in here tonight and trying to run with these boys, and doing a pretty good job right now. Obviously in first, and then back there in the back half of the top 10. But Alan Elwood has got his sights back on that lead.
I think I'm coming back. I mean, I've been dusting off the old racing boots. Hopefully get back behind the steering wheel on Thursday nights. So looking forward to that myself. So I know what it's like to, you know, kind of jump back in a car, and you forgot something, or it takes a little bit to get back into the swing of things. You gotta find your rhythm, find your pace, and gather everything up that you learned, and hopefully you're not too rusty that you can put something together for a good finish. But Nick Nickerson doing just that right now. P2, and Alan Elwood has made a run, and then you see Kevin Foster back there in P-13. So fell back a couple spots, but Kevin's always thinking a little farther ahead than at the immediate moment. At this point, it is.
You can catch Jimmy and John Nobinger both in the CORE GT Series. Will be starting up not this Thursday, but next Thursday is the start of the new season, as going to give John a little break, and I'm going to apologize now to all the drivers in the CORE GT Series for giving him a break and letting him get back out there on the track. And maybe the same for Jimmy. We'll see how it goes, but we'll see both of them out there on the track. Well, yeah, if you and John end up anywhere close to each other, there's certainly going to be fireworks, and I'll be in the booth, I'm sure, enjoying every bit of it for sure. But check them out on CRN here, as we'll bring you live coverage of the CORE GT Series starting next Thursday. And still time to get in. If you're a racer and you want to get into some great GT3 racing, it's been fantastic racing for the last few seasons, and this season looks to be even better, and quite a bit of rain the way it seems in the schedule here for this coming season. But already 30 plus drivers signed up and ready to roar out there. But we're doing a pretty good job here as we get a nice little run. Alan Elwood now starting to stretch his legs a bit here, about 3/4 of a second lead over Nick Nickerson, and then about 2 seconds almost back to Jack Stillman in third. So these top two really starting to get away from everybody. Danny Ware and Nico Garcia, your top 5. We haven't seen Shane Theriot come back up through the field, and maybe he's just kind of holding back there and trying to save those tires a little bit, but he's kind of stuck in this hornet's nest back here in the back half of the top 10.
Yeah, and it's the, I call it the heart of the racing. There's a lot of very hard, very close racing with that. And you get stuck behind them. It usually takes a while to get around some of them drivers. They're doing everything they can to, work their way to the front to have a good finish. But I had a little bit of, it looked like John Crane went off the track.
It looked like he was trying to get in the pit lane, and it was not a good entry for sure. He did get into pit lane, but that's going to end up being a penalty, and really not going to be a good start to the race for him. Did get word from the 10 crew in regards to that first incident there, and indeed it was a wheel issue, as his wheel shut off and he lost everything, and that's why you seen that thing just go barreling into turn number 1 and hard into the outside wall. But good to see he's okay. It looks like the wheel is okay. He's back out there racing, but certainly had to use his faster pair to get back out there. But either way, we are doing a good job right now as it's starting to spread out here a little bit. You look at the track map going around there, and you got a little cluster back there when you get from about 15th on back. But other than that, top 10 starting to just kind of spread out here a little bit for sure.
That's a tough right there for the 10. As I know he's got some really equipment, and not the brand I would have went with. We'll keep that to ourselves, but because there's just so many out there, and a lot of them can work, and everyone has had their hiccups, but definitely not what I would have done. So I told you so. But he's tough right there when you putting up faults, and because Matt's usually a pretty clean driver. If anything, if he's not the fastest, he's one of the cleanest in most races. So he's just waiting for his time to work his way forward or take the opportunity to get a better position. So tough break for the 10 here tonight at Kansas, but going back out there, still getting some laps in. You never know what can happen. Maybe somebody else will fall out, or an incident will happen, so you can gain some more position. But we'll see what happens here for the rest of the race for number 10. But Alan Elwood out front right now over Nick Nickerson by almost 2 seconds as he's starting to walk away from everybody. Jack Stillman back there, P number 3. Danny Ware's in 4th. Nico Garcia's in 5th. And obviously we got a lot of battling throughout the rest of the track.
Just taking a run through the field and giving a look at everybody's vehicle as we do, and again how beautiful some of these cars look under the lights here for sure. A few battles, as we said, back here in the back half of the top 20. Right now, Telegramble going at it here with Dan Phelps as it gets a little sketchy right there in front of him. Like Jeremy Ganey, not sure if he had any damage from tripping the wall earlier, but certainly looks nice and clean again. And the 10 has a few more panels on it. Once again, certainly I got the hood back on that, but he is 2 laps down because the incident had to tow obviously back to pit lane and get everything working again. But so there's a chance if we get exactly that, if we get a yellow flag, and trying to see where it happened, and looks like Mike Moultrie is certainly involved, and that car is not looking too good. I don't think that that left front was looking like it was working too well, but take a look back here and see what might have happened, and looks like a bad attempt. I'm not sure if that was an attempt at a bump draft or what the case was going into turn number 3, but either way, it did not work too well for the 84, and that's going to bring us under our second caution. And
I see if the 84 had previous, like, any issues, but it's coming up there, and 72 had a run in that outside car and just, yeah, I think maybe just a bad attempt, maybe like just a kind of a bump, not quite squared up. Close. It was coming down just a little bit, so I pulled that rear to the left, and Moultrie had to try to collect it there before he sends the right front into the wall, and I think the 72 does get by, so just unfortunate there for the 84 on that one.
And you see that right front is not looking too healthy for sure, as he's going to come in here with the leaders and probably get a penalty, but he's more worried about getting in and getting that car repaired for sure. But that's going to bring in everybody from the track. I don't think you're going to see anybody stay out there unless they want to maybe grab a lap letter real quick. I think we're going to see just about everybody come in the pits here, and would not be surprised to see just about everybody take tires here, as we are very close, and we will be past the halfway before we get this thing fired off again. We're already on lap number 38, and it looks like it is Jeremy Gainey getting the wave around the lucky dog to get himself back on the lead lap, bring us back to 21 cars on the lead lap. And Alan Elwood going to win the charge off pit road, and I'm done guessing already, Jimmy, as it looks like most of the top 10, looks like 9 out of the top 10 decide not to take tires. So maybe they're realizing after that first run, I mean, we've seen, you know, Shane Therian take tires right towards the front there, and it really didn't do anything for him. So, yeah, I'm kind of baffled, but looks like the back half of the field all decided to take tires. But up here at the front, Alan Elwood, Nick Nickerson, Nico Garcia, Danny Ware, AJ Roddick are going to be your top 5. And then you got Van Weston, Jancic, Reiner, Stoneman, and Foster going to make up your top 10, as looks like we should have at least another lap of caution here. And yeah, the police car lights are still on. A couple cars at the front there. You see the 11 of John Crane and the 10 of Matt Crockett looking to get a wave around. That's going to put Crane back to 2 laps down, and Crockett back to 1 lap down. So that's a very important one right there. Looks like Moultrie is unfortunately going to be a lap down once he restarts this thing. But all in all, it's pretty good racing out here. I mean, it's just a couple little mistakes here and there to bring out those 2 cautions. But other than that, it's been Kansas. It's been a lot of different lines, and it's been really good to watch.
Yeah, typical Kansas, out there great racing, multiple lines, and, everything's been pretty close. So, obviously, drivers trying to work hard when, racing happens and caution comes out. So the drivers haven't had to really stress pit stops too much. Just obviously what they wanted to do in the pit stops. But, obviously this race is about halfway over. We're going up on lap number 40 here soon. So yeah, I think some of the drivers maybe wanting to hold on to a set of tires, for a little bit later in the race, as they do only have 3 sets. So they should have 1 more pit stop at a minimum here tonight. So like I said, I'm not quite sure how long they can go on fuel, but I'm gonna guess probably in the 20-25 laps range, maybe a few more. So we're going to get to see soon, and how anybody exercises that pit stop, and when they're going to take that set of tires.
Yeah, long story short, I don't think there's any way they're going to make it all the way to the end here on fuel, and I will make that guess. I know I said I'm done guessing already, but I don't think there's any way you're going to make it 40-plus laps here on fuel. So we'll see at least 1 more pit stop from everybody. Hopefully it comes under green and we get some some turmoil from it, and really get to mix things up. But we are doubled up once again. Alan Elwood, Nick Nickerson on the front row. And we're going to go ahead and crank it up here for this restart, and let these engines roar here at Kansas Speedway. and give everyone out there in CRN Nation a little love to hear it.
Green flag, green flag.
the sights and sounds of the CORE Xfinity Series under our CRN Love to Hear It segment, and some great battling. A few cars scraping that outside wall, though. Got to keep it off of there. And we've seen both Alan Elwood up there. We see Nico Garcia up there in the wall, but utilizing those new tires are the guys in the top 4 right now. Jack Stoneman now looking to battle for the lead with Shane Therian, and he is going to move that 49 to the top of the boards. So Stoneman now leading, Therian in second, Kelly Pointer in third, Connor Gibson in fourth, Kevin West in fifth, but we've got a caution, and we just took it off of Nico Garcia, but he is involved in this one. Early leader on here tonight, but looks like he's going to get involved. It looks like Daniel Wiles may be involved as well. And it looks like it already started right there, so we'll go back here a little bit. And it looks like coming off of turn number 4, one getting into the wall hard, which can happen here at Kansas off of 4, and just shoot straight down the track, and there's really nothing he could do. Nothing that Daniel Wiles could do as they both get sent down through the grass. Looks like Wiles brushed up there a little bit, but maybe not too bad damage-wise. And really can kind of say the same thing for the one. But going to take a quick trip through the grass now. Now it gets interesting. Right before we got this caution, it was about 30 laps left in this race. Going to be real close now on fuel, Jimmy, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite a few takers come down into pit road here as we'll take a look and we'll see. Yep, here we go. The leaders coming in, and would not be surprised if just about everybody comes in. But it's still at a pivotal point. I mean, we're still looking at a good 27 laps to go right now. I mean, once we get back going green, you're still going to be looking at a good 24, 25 laps of green flag racing if we have that. So get your calculators out. That's about all I can say.
Your favorite overlay. And hopefully it doesn't let you down. We're going to see a lot of in and outs, maybe some just fuel. Maybe drivers, with a few cautions so far this race, maybe people not taking tires, or maybe they're just YOLO and take their last set, but still a lot of racing left. Cars still 25 more laps remaining of this race before this is over. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to board the plane to head over to Bristol as this race finishes up here. Gotta get the things started over there with the Ultimate Conquest Racing League for their Gen 4 race. So over that, but really kind of looking to see how this thing finishes up here. As right now, it is Joseph Thomas out front.
Yeah, Joe Thomas looks like he just stayed out to maybe lead a lap here. Nice. He's going to bring that 218 in the pits. I think that's probably a good move.
Lap led.
Exactly. But yeah, should be a good one over there at UCRL at the last great Coliseum at Bristol Motor Speedway. So I'm looking forward to that. Those guys put on a great performance week in and week out, and go to a short track like that. Hopefully, we get some good strategy that plays out there. I know it's been maybe a little bit. It's hard to put in there. I mean, it's like the amount of fuel and the amount of tire wear that they have right now, and the amount of pit stops. I mean, it's great when you have a race go green to checkered, but there's times where it's maybe not so great, and it doesn't doesn't give us as much drama as we like to see. But it's tough. I mean, they got a lot of good quality races over there, and you can't just. I guess we could tell them to throw a comp caution every once in a while to mix it up, or just randomly we'll hit that throw yellow button and not tell them anything about it. But it's Bristol. I doubt that Bristol's going to be caution free. It has nothing to do with their driving style. It's Bristol, baby.
I know it's a short track, Carl, but because of the high banking, it's just one heck of a
it's
short
okay.
track. And,
you go to pass.
I got a win. I actually have my first iRacing win at Bristol. I was in the ARCA cars, but definitely a lot of fun. So it's just that one track that I do have an official win there. It was my very first one. I worked very, very hard the first 2 weeks I was with Jim iRacing, so you have a special spot, really like a pass as far as short tracks go.
Well, another caution here, and another round of pit stops shakes up the order once again, and looks like Matt Crockett going to take the wave around. He's going to rejoin the field. Still 1 lap down, but just needs one more caution, get that lucky dog, get him back here in the mix. We still got 22 cars on the lead lap, but Shane Therian back out in front. Jack Stoneman in second, Connor Gibson, Tyler Bramble all the way up to 4th place now, Kelly Pointer in 5th. And then you got Jancic, West, Nickerson, Elwood, and Gainey making up your top 10. So a lot of movers and shakers here, a lot of guys moving up the order here. Highest we've seen Tyler Bramble all night, highest we've seen Jeremy Gainey all night. This could get very interesting, and I think even Kevin West, I think is the first time we've seen him up there, up a couple spots from his starting spot in 9th place. See how this restart goes. It is under control from Shane Therian here on the restart. Pace car is making that left-hand turn into pit lane. Shane Therian in the restart zone on the loud pedal once again. A bit of a bobble from the 49, but we are back to racing here at Kansas Speedway, and we've got 24 laps remaining.
Pretty much go time from here, Carl. It's still a pretty long run to the end, but definitely a lot can happen. But then drivers are going to start wanting to be in that position.
Kelly Pointer going sideways, a good save, gets it back on the track and loses a ton of positions. But he is back out there, and we will stay green as we've seen a 2, 3, and 4 wide race now. 3 wide for 2nd place. Gibson on the apron. Right there in the middle is Jancic. On the outside is Stoneman. And, man, I don't know who to give the advantage to here, as all 3 of them still side by side through 1 and 2. Looks like a slight edge to Stoneman on the outside, and Jancic just going to clear Gibson. But, yeah, I think Jimmy hit the nail on the head. It is go time here at Kansas. It's starting to get a little racy, get a little feisty. You got to move your way up through the field. Didn't have everybody take their tires on that pit stop right there, so wouldn't be surprised if some guys maybe just hold on to 1 extra set for that late caution to really run through this field, because I mean, late in the race, fresh tires are going to mean something one way or another, as Stoneman gets sideways. What a save by the drivers. It briefly gets into Nick Nickerson, but how did they save it out of that one? That could have taken out a lot of big-time drivers here tonight. Man, that was a tight one. Oh, and there goes Stoneman down through the grass. Somehow doesn't collect anybody. Spinning sideways back up onto the track. And the caution will end up coming out.
That's going to give that break here to some of them drivers. Now they're really thinking, with only 20 laps remaining, should I go get the new tires? Some of the drivers out there, obviously if they just took them, it might be okay. But we're still losing a lot of spots right now. But there's a lot going to a lot of the drivers out there, and what they want to do here tonight.
We'll take a look at the incident here, and Stoneman's tires already angry from getting a little sideways earlier on the backstretch, and you see that car already kind of wanting to step out. And turn 4 is kind of the place. If you're gonna point to one spot here at Kansas where it can be an issue with guys pushing up the track towards the towards that wall, or just getting a little bit loose in the wrong line, turn 4 is certainly the place to look at, and that's exactly what happened there. It just got out of shape there a little bit, got into the wall, shot him straight across the track, and man, again, lucky that nobody else was there. And goes through a little bit of lawn maintenance there on the front stretch, but somehow everybody avoids him through all the calamity right there. But gotta bring us under another caution, and yeah, as you said, Jimmy, real interesting to see what happens here. Shane Therian did not take tires on that last pit stop, and he gives up the lead. Comes into the pits here. We'll see what he decides to do. And I mean, with this extra caution here, I would think they're probably good to go on fuel to the end. These few laps on caution here should get them into that window to get them to the end. But it's going to be real interesting to see what happens here. Very few guys come in. Looks like You got Moultrie, Therian, Tyler Bramble, Van Westen, and Gainey all coming in, and most of them from the top 10. Looks like all of them except for Van Westen taking fresh tires. But now they're going to be starting pretty far back. I mean, Therian came in as a leader. He is now coming back out on the track in 19th position. He's got 28 laps remaining once they get to the line right here, and we're not even going to go green just yet, but he's going to have to be on fire here on these last few laps and really have to run through the field. But it's going to be actually 18 laps at the line here, not 28. So that's going to be a big. He's going to have to get a car lap. I mean, the maths that way. But again, we're still going to be under caution here. And Craig Jancic, your pole sitter here tonight. Actually, sorry, not your pole sitter. Your outside pole sitter here tonight. Finally finds himself back at the front. Have not seen that Mets car at the front of the field for quite some time, as he kind of just fell back at the beginning of this race and just kind of riding the way it seemed in the first half. But finds himself up there now, and Nick Nickerson on the front row with him.
What team was that again, Carl?
No comment. Look at Nick Nickerson's car alongside of the big red car right there, as it is Red October for the Phillies. They'll just have to wait till this first round bye is over with. But as it stands, your top 10 is going to be Jancic, Nickerson, West, Gibson, and Elwood for the top 5. Wiles, Ware, Collins, Tilford, and Phelps going to make up your top 10. Running through the rest of the order here real quick. You had Nico Garcia, Bryce Reiner, AJ Rutter, Kevin Foster, and Kelly Pointer, your top 15. Thomas, Stoneman, Van Westen, Therian, and Bramble, Tyler Bramble, that is, in your top 20. And then you got Moultrie, Gainey, and Crockett now on the lead lap once again in the top 23. 2 laps down is John Crane in 24th, and then it looks like Casey Phelps and Tony Bramble decided to hang it up here for tonight. Should be getting the 1 to go this time by, so once we get the restart here, we're going to have 16 laps remaining here in Kansas.
16 exciting laps in Kansas. So much going to be going on. So many drivers are wanting to get up to the front for the best finishes that they can get here tonight, and some taking that gamble and taking new tires. So we'll see how fast and how quickly and safely they can get up in the field.
I want to send a shout out to everybody tuning in here tonight. As we got a nice lively chat going on there tonight. Barry out there, Chris. I'm sure Chris would love to be out here running Kansas. I know he's maybe not the oval guy. He is. He's good at ovals too. Don't let him fool you. And I know he likes ends up Kansas. We got Kelly. Appreciate it as always. Appreciate the shout out. And I know you're looking for Kevin to try and make his way up there towards the front. Maybe grab himself another podium here at the FAM Kansas, but he's got a lot of tough competition, and he's going to make up quite a few spots restarting back here in 14th. But pace car lights are out, and he is in pit lane. We are getting ready to fire these guys off one more time. The 97 of Craig Jancic is back on the loud pedal, and we are racing again at Kansas. 16 laps remaining. Jimmy, I'm going to venture out there and make another guess. I don't think that is going to be our last caution of the race. I think this is overtime for go time right now. I think you're going to see a lot of aggressive driving right now to get all the way to the end of this race. I know you got to make your way over to the Bristol Motor Speedway to get ready for UCRL. So we'll let you know for sure how this thing ends, because it's going to get racy. And Nick Nickerson sending it to the outside, wants to welcome himself back in a big way. Looks like Kelly Pointer having some issues going through the grass there on the front stretch. Going to rejoin the field once again, and no caution. So side by side up here for the lead. Alan Elwood right behind, trying to figure out which line is going to go, which one does he need to follow. Slight edge to Nickerson heading into turn number 3 as he goes to the middle line, and looks like he's going to make it stick. But can Jancic get up there and get a little side draft? No, it's not going to be enough. Nick Nickerson to the front, but here comes Alan Elwood sending it out there 3 wide for the lead, and caution flies. Man, what a saving grace there for maybe all 3 of the leaders, as it was about to get racy, and we will have another caution. Looks like Josh Van Westen maybe getting involved in this one. Oh, my heart rate was just about to start really going up there, but we'll take a look and see what brought this one out.
Got a quick glance as I'm watching some of the onboard TVs on board the flight here to finish up this race here tonight. And yeah, 3 wide for the lead. Just one of those things you like to see here. It's just the competitiveness of all these drivers, and they were keeping it clean up there, but tough break for the drivers on the back.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a bobble off the corner, and unfortunately Van Westen is the only one that gets caught up in that, and sends a little trip through the grass. But again, we've had 4 or 5 cautions here tonight, but short of the incident with Matt Crockett, which was not his fault at all with the wheel shut off, really haven't had a lot of damaged cars. And I mean, we still have 24 out of the 26 drivers in this race yet and still turning laps, so that's a great sign as these drivers are keeping it as clean as possible. But a few more drivers coming into the pits here pretty late on, and I mean, it's getting close to that point where you got to wonder, is this thing going to go 80 laps, or will we have some overtime, and will they have enough fuel to make it to overtime? So maybe that's why we see some pits here. Connor Gibson, Kevin Foster, Matt Crockett, all in the pits. Obviously, Josh Van Westen in the pits as well. But you see Nick Nickerson there, down there on the apron, maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel. So make sure I was indeed live there, as I thought I seen Van Westen go by, but yeah. So not sure how I would just see him go by there on the wave around. But actually, it was John Crane getting the wave around. As that will be why you got John Crane and Van Westen with the same Scooby-Doo paint scheme. But John Crane now going to be 1 lap down, so he would love to see another caution fly and get himself back onto the lead lap, as he's the only one that is still out there running, not on the lead lap. It's 23 cars here on the lead lap, and we're going to have less than 10 laps to go once we get this thing fired back off, as pace car lights are still on. We'll see if they go off this time by, as nobody else is coming into the pits. We should be ready to go and maybe get the 1 to go this time. Now we will still have another lap under caution here, so we're going to restart this thing with looks like probably 8 laps to go, 8 or 9 laps to go, and it's certainly music to the ears of some of these guys up at the front, because they know it's about to get really racy. And what a comeback for Nico Garcia. He was involved in a few of those incidents, last couple incidents there. Now finds himself in 8th place, got everything patched up and repaired good enough to make himself back up into the top 10, and he's certainly not out of the running just yet, but we got a stacked top 10 right now. I mean, you got Jancic, Nickerson, Elwood, Ware, Wiles, your top 5. All of them are very, very competent drivers, and I mean, Jancic is in the silver division, as you can see, but he has been running with these gold boys and putting his name in the hat for quite a bit here this season. And would not be surprised if he unfortunately finds himself in the gold division at some point for getting promoted here in the middle of the season. But Kevin West up there in 6th, David Tilford, Nico Garcia, AJ Roderick, and Caleb Collins, your top 10. And you see most of that top 10 is gold, but a few of those drivers are silver and doing a fantastic job. You got to look down to 15th position for the first bronze division member, and that is Dan Phelps, doing a good job. Joe Thomas back there in 17th. Your points leader, John Crane, as we mentioned, coming in here, points leader by just a smidge, but having a bit of a rough go here, trying to get back onto the lead lap and trying to pick up a few positions before this thing is over. But base car lights are out, and your leader, Greg Jancic, deciding to take the outside line here. So interesting, first time we've seen the leader decide to go to the outside, but we're going to see if it pays off or not. It seemed like that outside line was getting just a little bit squirrely on some of these restarts, but he's going to give it a go. And unfortunately, we're going to have to give Jimmy a go here and get him over there to Bristol Motor Speedway for UCRL. So again, make sure you tune in here in a bit. But Jimmy, it's been fun here, and it should be a good one here to finish this thing out. But we'll see you over there at Bristol very soon.
Yeah, just debarking, getting off this plane, and get ready to head down pit side here at Bristol. But you got my little handy dandy remote here screen, so I can see what's going on. So I'll definitely be watching. But again, thanks to all the drivers coming out. Thanks to all the fans for showing up. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and if you want to watch some more racing, come on over and I'll watch the UCRL here at Bristol. So, but yeah, Carl, I'm out. I'll pick you when you're all finished up.
Sounds good, buddy. Good start here for Jancic from that outside line. Nick Nickerson going to slide in a second. Elwood gets a little bit out of shape, but does save it as they're 3 and almost 4 wide racing back behind him. But it's Jancic, Nickerson, Elwood, and Ware at the front. We've got another yellow. And it looks like possibly Jeremy Gainey involved in this one. And we've got a few, unfortunately, fan favorite there. Kevin Foster involved. Connor Gibson involved. Looks like the 10 of Matt Crockett is involved as well, and he's got a wheel that's stuck, and unfortunately already used his fast repair earlier, so that is not going to help out at all. We'll try and take a look back and see exactly what happened on this one. And I'm wondering if this may have been a bump draft going wrong here, as you see Gainey right there. Foster, yeah, gives him a pretty square shove, but that thing got way out of shape very quickly, and unfortunately takes out Connor Gibson in the process. Josh Van Westen somehow, I think he actually sneaks through this thing as, yeah, Foster gives a big shot there, the 31. Crockett locked it up, but unfortunately nowhere to go, and John Crane just trying to figure out, where do I need to go to get through here? I just want to get my lap back, but unfortunately slides up, gets into the wall. If he maybe made the left-hand turn there, he may have been able to get through that thing, but he probably is not going to be able to get his lap back now. Take a look at that one more time. And we'll jump on board with Josh Van Westen and show you how close this thing was to be a disaster for the 121. And I mean, the complete road in front of him was blocked right there, and then blocked again, and you're kind of picking a spot and driving to it and just hoping that the car is going to clear out of the way, and that's exactly what happens there for him. So great job for the 121 there, but not going to be a good one there for Kevin Foster, Connor Gibson, Jeremy Gainey, Matt Crockett. That may end up being the night for Matt Crockett, who would love to have a good run here points-wise in the 10, but I mean, he had wheel issues, and now I think he's got, well, maybe not literal, but in-car wheel issues, as it didn't look like that left front was spinning on him, and probably is going to call it a night here. But we are going to have some, not green, white, checkered racing just yet, but it's getting very close, and I mean, Jancic doesn't mind these late race cautions. He wouldn't mind a few more, I'm sure, to go ahead and lock himself in here for the victory and get this thing done, because he's got a lot of drivers right behind him breathing down his neck, looking to try and grab a win here tonight, and really look to get towards these playoffs a little bit quicker. Pace car lights are still on, and again, Jancic in the silver division, but winner of 2 of the last 4 races, as he was a winner at Michigan a few weeks ago back in the end of August, and then a winner a few weeks ago at Atlanta. So certainly picking up steam here with the 97 and looking to get 3 out of 5 wins. So we'll see what happens here, as fortunately everybody last time out had to deal with Aaron Smith coming out there and taking the win, and the pole for that matter, at Watkins Glen. But it's been a good one here at Kansas, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few more fireworks before this thing is over. Kansas is indeed the exception there, Chris. This is a fun track, no matter what vehicles you come here with. If you're here with the Xfinity cars, Truck Series, Next Gens, it's a blast here. I mean, I think we've taken just about everything to Kansas, and I don't think it's ever going to do you wrong. And even the road course, there's not much to it, only a few turns, but it's fun. It's a fun little road course if you haven't picked it up and tried it yet. It uses a majority of the oval track here with a brief little respite on the infield, but again, really not too many corners, just kind of a big old hairpin that reminds you of the Daytona hairpin. But we're back and ready to get some green flag laps in here as we're going to restart. Going to be 4 laps remaining here. And this thing is far from over. It's only 4 laps to go, but it is far from over. There's a lot of names up here still inside this top 10. A lot of fresh tires, a lot of guys hungry for their first win. Certainly, Jancic would love to get his 3rd win here on the season, but Nickerson would love to jump in here, get out here at Kansas, and restake his claim and get back into the CORE victory lane. But he's got a lot of cars that he's going to have to try and hold off while he tries to get ahead of Jancic. Back racing here at Kansas, a late restart there. Jancic tried to fool them a little bit, but it's going to be side by side into turn number 1. Nickerson not giving way at all, and maybe going to try and run that inside. He is clear right now, but will he move up the track? He indeed will. He is in the lead of the 2, but big wreck in the back, and this time Van Weston not going to get out of it, and we got a car on its lid. I think that's not Kelly Pointer, and not John Crane, trying to figure out who is on their lid back there. And unfortunately, I think it might have been Kevin Foster. Let's take a look at that one more time. And it looks like just some tight battling there. Connor Gibson gets into Van Weston, who just barely clips the 75, and you see Kevin Foster going up and over onto his lid. Jeremy Gainey somehow gonna sneak through that thing. That was very, very close. Well, that is going to bring out another caution. We'll take a look at that one more time. Has Connor Gibson, I mean, what are teammates for? That's what they're for right there. Flips him back onto on his 4 wheels, but I think that that might be the night there. I don't think that car is going to be driving too well for Kevin. I think he already took his fast repair, but we'll jump on board here with Foster coming off of the corner and show you how quickly things can go wrong. Coming out of the corner, and Van Weston just goes shooting straight across in front of him and up and over. And that's, I mean, Kansas is a beautiful track, but you don't want to get up close and personal like this right here with Kansas. But what that's going to do for us is it's going to give us a new leader here at the front for the restart. That is Nick Nickerson. And it's also going to give us some overtime here. And this is where it's going to get very, very interesting. And would not be surprised to see this thing get one more caution and end this thing under caution. I hope for these drivers that it ends under green. But it's been pretty racy here tonight at Kansas. But the top 10 is now going to look like this. It's going to be Nickerson, Jancic, Ware, Elwood, and Wiles for the top 5. West, Garcia, Tilford, Therian, and Roderick for the top 10. Moultrie just outside the top 10 in 11th. Caleb Collins right there in 12th. Jack Stoneman is trying to fight his way back, but back in 13th position right now. Biggest mover of the race is Dan Phelps, up 10 spots after starting 25th on the night. He's up to 15th position. So good job by Phelps, just kind of plodding along and hopefully going to finish out with a good finish here tonight. But which lane will the two choose? We've seen the inside line be pretty much dominant here all night on the restart, and well, it was really dominant on that restart there as Jancic tried to start him late in the restart zone, but Nickerson was ready for him, hung with him all the way into turn number 1 and was fast enough on that lower line to clear him. So will he choose that inside line? It seems like the outside, you can get a better jump and kind of a better angle into turn number 1, and if you can kind of hold that driver down close enough on that inside line, if they're still alongside you into 1, you'll get a faster run on that middle line or the high line throughout turn number 2 and onto the backstretch. But it's all about that restart. We'll see what everyone does here, as we'll see if the pace car lights are out. Either way, it's going to be some green, white, checkered action here tonight. Looks like Nickerson is going to choose the inside, and the pace car lights are out. It's back to racing time here at Kansas, and we got to finish this thing out. We got to crown our victor here tonight, and I mean, you never know. Nickerson has the speed and has the talent to come in here on race number 11 and maybe go on a bit of a tear here and get himself into the playoffs. Unfortunately for him, it's not win and you're in, but you never know. I mean, he still may not necessarily be out of it with the talent that he has behind the wheel of that number 2, but first things first, he's got to get it done tonight, and he's got to start setting the pace here for these drivers. And it's been a lot of big names at the front, and really just a few kind of bigger cautions here late in the race as drivers are starting to get a little aggressive here at the end. But green, white, checker time here at Kansas. It is overtime. Time to decide who is going to finish this thing out. And if you're Nickerson, if you're Jancic, you got to get a good restart here. This is going to be the last restart of the race. You need it right now. Up to the restart zone, and Nickerson back on the loud pedal, racing here again at Kansas. A good start for the 2. The 97 going to hang with him, now going to slide down in front of Ware to try and cut off that run. He is closing in on the 2, dives down to the bottom. The 100 already down there. The 5 of Elwood hanging right there as well. Going to be side by side off of the corner, almost 3 wide, but looks like Jancic's going to fall in line. A bump, a big wobble there by the 97 as he gets tagged by Elwood. Side by side coming through 3 and 4. The 2 of Nickerson still going to hold on to it, but here comes Elwood trying to look to the outside. Not going to have it just yet. Next flag will end, and we are on the white flag right now. Very close, almost a bump and run, and the 2 gets sideways. 3 wide off the corner. Jancic, what a save. He's got to be out of the running here, but it's side by side. Elwood now to the front. Nickerson tries the crossover into 3 and 4. The 5 drifts up. The 2 getting the run through the corner, side drafting to the line, bumping and banging, and Nickerson gonna get it done. Danny Ware was right there as well. 8 hundredths of a second separating the top 3. Nickerson getting it done by 200ths of a second. What a finish here at Kansas. I just need to take a second to catch my breath on this one. Unfortunately, since we're in a bit of overtime here, not going to be able to get to interviews here this week, but what a comeback for the 2 of Nickerson, and we'll take you back in and take a look at that last lap one more time after we watch him celebrate here and do a little bit of burning out. But what a finish here. It looked like Elwood may have pulled the stunner, getting the 2 loose here a little bit in turn 1 and 2 and get him close to the wall, and it was 3 wide, and unfortunately Jancic taking the brunt of it. He does come home in 5th place, so good showing for the 97, but it was 3 wide coming off the corner. As we look one more time here, this coming to the white flag. Nickerson had it in hand, at least it seemed, but the 5 of Elwood gets a fantastic run through turn number 1. See Nickerson just gets a little bobble, gives enough for the 5 to get to his back bumper, then 3 wide net code contact in between the 5 and 97. That is a shame. But then a big power move there as the 5 drifted up the track, and the 2 did not. They got very close. The 5 trying to use a bit of side draft, and as they're bumping and banging, the 100 dives to the bottom to try and sneak one out there, but 0.08 of a second separating your podium spots. That is fantastic, and we'll take a look at the final results here. And man, what a finish. It's Kansas. It's so beautiful. It's why it's the unofficial home of CORE for sure. Nick Nickerson getting the win by 22 thousandths of a second. Less than a 100 or less than a tenth of a second behind is Danny Ware there in third overall. Kevin West, Craig Jancic, Shane Therian, Nico Garcia, Daniel Wiles, Dave Tilford, and Bryce Reiner going to make up your top 10. Through the rest of the field, you got AJ Roderick, Mike Moultrie, Caleb Collins, Jack Stoneman, Tyler Bramble, Dan Phelps, Kelly Pointer, John Crane, Connor Gibson, Joe Thomas rounding out your top 20, and then Jeremy Gainey, Josh Van Westen, Kevin Foster, Matt Crockett, Casey Phelps, and Tony Bramble going to round out the 26-car field here tonight. But it was a thriller. It was fantastic. Again, we got some more racing already started over there for UCRL, so I'm going to hop over to there myself and join Jimmy as he's calling that one right now. But this was fantastic, and again, if you're not subscribed, if you didn't like yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. This is great racing here on CRN week in and week out, and especially here in the CORE Xfinity Series. Gave us a great finish and maybe a little preview of what's to come here in a couple months here once this playoffs start. But that is going to do it for CRN's coverage of the CORE Xfinity Series here tonight. Next week, we go big dog racing. We go to Talladega Super Speedway. So you want to talk about some curveballs being thrown and some names that you may not normally see in the mix. Yeah, it's all on tap for next week, but you're going to have to tune in for that one next Tuesday night. For Jimmy Covert and myself, Carl Hamwork, here in the booth. We'll see you at the track.